Hey guys, I'm sorry. I know you can't see me right now. I really wish you could, but the best thing I could do is flip my camera around and use the flash on the back of my phone. I'm driving right now. Didn't want to do this later. I wanted to make the video while it's fresh in my mind. So again, sorry about the lighting, but it'll be worth it because you'll still get all the good wisdom, knowledge, and all that other good stuff that you always hear me sharing. INFJs love to be the healer. There is a term I describe myself with, coming from my past and everything I've been through, known as the wounded healer. A wounded healer is somebody who ministers to other people out of their own personal wounds and experiences. Put simply, if I came out of a childhood atmosphere of abuse, then through those wounds, I would want to bring healing to other people. That is what it means to be a wounded healer. In my case, it is very, very intense. I've come from so many different walks of sorrow in life that it is easy for me to minister to other people through the sufferings that I've suffered. And that's a beautiful thing to know that I'm not there anymore. But INFJs in general. Now, again, I am not, in all of my videos, when I say INFJs do or do not, I am specifically referring to healthy ones. I made videos in the past, you can go check them out, 7 signs of an unhealthy INFJ, and I kind of explain in that video how they don't fit the standards. They don't fit the general hearsay of things. And a perfect example is, by this point, if any of you classify as INFJs and you have already disliked this video, you have effectively proven my point 100%. So thank you very much. Thank you. I genuinely mean it, because all you're doing is certifying to myself and to my viewers, but especially to myself, that I never missed a beat, and that's awesome. That's awesome to know. So, INFJs love to be the wounded healer, but more than that, they love seeing the person healed. INFJs love to be the connection that restores emotional well-being. For an INFJ, being an empath, at least in the purely psychological sense, we thrive off of the joy of other people. However, that can also be a bad thing, because that can mean that we can become overwhelmed or negatively affected by the negativity of other people. And sadly, that is what draws us to want to make them better, because as idealists and visionaries, we see what they could be, and as a result, we want to help them. This isn't a video about what not to do. This is just a simple topic about INFJs. That's all this video is, so I'm going to do my best to stay on track. So, at least in the purely psychological sense, we are empaths. That means that we thrive off of the vision of seeing somebody well. And when that comes to fruition, and we know that our hands had a part in your well-being, we get a sense of overwhelming satisfaction that words can't describe. It's kind of like the romantic feeling that comes from the first kiss in a relationship. How you feel like that hope that you've had, that dream, that fantasy, whatever it is, finally came to pass, and you feel a sense of I'm just going to use because I can't think of a better way to describe this. It tastes like honey. Honey to your tongue, and in your soul, just the sense of rain washing away any stresses in your life. It's that peaceful, sweet feeling that you can only get through a longing satisfied, a longing fulfilled. Proverbs in the Bible says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul. And so that's kind of the illustration I'm using here. When an INFJ knows that they had a part in helping somebody heal, there is a sense of overwhelming elation that comes to us, but it be more than that. It is us knowing that we're doing what we were created to do. I'm a firm believer that God creates people in the womb and their personality, not necessarily their personalities, but their tendencies from a young age. In other words, just as it's been proven that you are either an introvert at birth or you are an extrovert at birth, that means 8 of the Myers-Briggs personality tests are determined before you are even born, genetically. So the question comes, if you can't get something out of nothing, then therefore God has sewn you together in the womb. And someone might say, well, this wasn't supposed to be a religious video, but you know what? I feel like throwing this little bit of extra in there just for you. Science says you can't get something out of nothing. And by that means abortion is murder, because that means that life has to come at conception. You can't get something out of nothing. Can't get a baby at 3 months. So for those of you who are like, this wasn't supposed to be religious, you're right. It's not. It's factual. Oh, it is all factual. Genetics don't work like that, buddy. Science says that you can't get something out of nothing. And by that regard, life happens at conception. So, since you can't get something out of nothing, that means you have to go back all the way to the first conception. Where'd that come from? Genetics had to start somewhere, right? Oh man, this isn't religious. This is all fact. I'm getting back on track. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I always enjoy that. Someone's like, oh, Eric doesn't know what he's talking about. This is all just what he believes. And then I'm like, nope, pop the balloon. I love the feeling. I love the feeling of knowing I was right. Anyways, guys, I'm going to turn up the brightness now. I actually can. I'm back at my house under the street light, technically. Hi, guys. But INFJs love to be the one who is able to lead someone to that healing. And to take that a step further, get kind of staying on track with what I was saying, I'm a firm believer that that God forms people in the wombs, and their personality develops the things that they experience. For example, I wouldn't be the man today if I wasn't healed from the wounds that I experienced. My character would be completely different if I wasn't abused as a child. So our disposition towards how our personality will develop is determined from a young age. That's my personal belief. And it's in tune with genetics and science. Whether or not it's factually proven is of no consequence to me. I mean, I know for a fact that it's true, but that's because of a religious basis. And I'm not here to include that in my videos. Why did I just threw my key on the ground? What is wrong with me tonight? Anyways, oh, I found it. Yay, me! I found my key. I found my key. Oh, man, I need to get an actual chain for these things. But what was I saying? Yes, so if you're an INFJ today, it means that you had a disposition from birth. And in that regard, I say when we do what we were created to do, and that is to be healers, I truly believe that sense of satisfaction of knowing that we did what we were created to do brings this overwhelming sense of fulfillment inside of us that nothing else can bring us. And it's so unique to us because of our roles in the world, and as INFJs, not only are we rare, but it seems like every single one of us has gone through the same similar experiences of being hurt only to want to help people. You know what I mean? From a young age, as far back as I can remember, my thought was always, I just want to help people. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I didn't know if I wanted to be a therapist or a counselor or a teacher or anything else. I just knew I wanted to help people. That was always in my heart. And then there are some people that say, I just want to help people be a better person. And you have some of those extroverted personality types like the ENFP, who's just focused on building people up and helping them be the best that they can be. And that's what they thrive off of. That's what they get joy off of. You have the INFP who gets intense joy out of making people feel accepted and drawing them into their how do I put this? Drawing them in, I don't want to say inner circle, but it's almost like drawing them into their inner world and allowing that person to come alive without ever having to touch them. They love seeing the fireworks go off inside of somebody and who they can be and what they can be, and to be there to start the revolution, start the change. All the while, they're just enjoying life. But they get a certain sense of satisfaction of knowing that somebody that somebody became something greater because of being involved in their life. They thrive and love the satisfaction that comes of knowing that their friendship, their influence was enough to help somebody. All right, all of the Myers-Briggs personality types have this certain drive about them that makes them want to pursue a specific goal. And if you want, comment below. I will make a video of the 16 personality types and talking about this very topic in detail. But before I go too much further, I want to stop and say that INFJs particularly have one goal, and that is to bring a universal healing. That's kind of our unified mission. It doesn't matter how you go about that, whether that's through politics or whether that's through teaching or whether that's through phone calls and emails or YouTube videos, or whether that's through in my case wanting to be a therapist, or whether that's through being a police officer. In our mind, the unified vision is universal improvement, universal betterment, striving towards a better future, whatever that looks like. That's our unified goal. And our mindset is, if it was possible for the whole world to understand what we understand, to feel what we feel, to know what we know, to experience what we see they can become, then the world would be a better place entirely. That's our unified vision. And again, I'm not talking about unhealthy INFJs who are so caught up in their feelings and how they feel in the moment and what they see and what they want and where they want to go. It's about, help me feel better so that I can fully help you. That's what the unhealthy INFJ says. They have all these undealt, mixed up feelings, and one moment they're happy, and then the smallest thing sets them off and they just go poof, like some kind of lion mane, just all of a sudden. It's just like you don't even understand what triggered them. They don't understand what triggered them, and then they're yelling at you out of frustration. Why don't you just listen to me more? We're thinking, we were having a conversation. Where the heck did this come from? Unhealthy. And you can say that it's not contingent to an INFJ type. That's unhealthy no matter how you look at it. But because INFJs are such emotional people, I'll just say it that way. Whether we express those emotions or not does not change the fact that we are emotional people. And that can be dangerous whenever those emotions are a live wire. And that's what I mean when I say unhealthy INFJ. What I'm really saying is an unhealthy live wire of emotions. So for the wire that's not live, I'm not going to lie and say that we're all unhealthy, quote unquote. What determines if someone's unhealthy? Again, you can go back and watch my videos, but the basic golden rule of thumb and outline is, if your emotions are a live wire, you're not stable, and that means that you're not healthy. Whether that's in a moment, whether that's for 5 minutes because you just got through a rough breakup and are crying, whether that's because you have all these thoughts racing through your head and you don't know why you're feeling, and you're just like feeling like you're tearing up, or you feel alone and you don't know why, and you know what I mean. Whether it's for 5 minutes or whether it's for 2 years and you're just running from past issues. Whatever the case, an unhealthy INFJ is someone whose emotions are a live wire and they can't control them. They cannot control their emotions. They're unstable and unhealthy. That's what it means. Other personality types can be unhealthy, but what looks to be unhealthy for an INFJ would be completely healthy for another personality type. For example, an ENTP. If you compare the ENTP with the INFJ, what would be healthy for them is it would be unhealthy for us. Think about that for a moment. The ENTP is a very analytical, straightforward. Well, why in a warehouse setting? Well, why would you cut open the box to see what's inside? Well, I was told that there might be wrong contents. We were just checking. You damaged the item. Why would you do that? Because I didn't want to send it to the wrong customer. But the ENTP is just thinking, that was not your job. And now, if an INFJ were to do that, all of a sudden, it seems unhealthy for us. It seems like we're taking out our frustration on them. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm painting an example here. what seems to be unhealthy for an INFJ is very, very different for other personality types. And at this point, I'm kind of covered the topic I made the video about. I'm just going on the rant. And that means that when I say unhealthy INFJ, I am specifically referring to INFJs in this particular context. There are many signs to being unhealthy. When you put the term unhealthy and INFJ in the same phrase, it is about one thing and one thing only: a live wire of emotions that they cannot control. That is the only thing I am ever referring to in my videos. And you know what? I bet you if everyone who disliked any of my videos went back and watched them all again with that perspective in mind, they would change it from a dislike to a like. All because they didn't understand what I was saying. And you know what? That just proves my point. That only proves my point. They can't even control their emotion. Smash the dislike, because that's the only thing that gets out their frustration. They can't feel better until they act. They can't feel better until they say something. They can't feel better until they tell that person what's on their mind. They can't feel better until they stomp their foot for a moment. They can't feel better until they slam the door. They can't feel better until they punch a wall. They can't feel better until they walk away. They can't feel better until they ignore the person who wronged them. They can't feel better until they do whatever it takes for them to know that they got the last word. They got the last action. They got the last comment. They got the last word in the game lobby. They got the newest comment on Facebook. They sent the last email before they sent the last message before blocking someone on Facebook. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You want to know the real reason us INFJs get so many dislikes on our videos? Because people come expecting something to be made for them. The INFJ says, I am going there to receive for me, as an unhealthy INFJ was, for my own emotional purposes. And as soon as something is said that offsets their emotions, they snap. Live wire goes off. Dislike. And I mean, I've made videos and they'll get like 1 like and 5 dislikes, and it's about an INFJ, and then I have comments like, what in the world? Why is this getting so many bad comments? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of INFJs are unhealthy, and it's not all their fault. I can't say that it isn't their fault, because clearly they know something's off. They just choose not to do anything about it. Self-destructive behavior. Look where it leaves them. They're still in the same state they were 2 months ago whenever they disliked my video. Nothing's changed. Wonder if there's a connection. All right. I'm kind of getting off track, but it's cool. I'm loving this. A lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of intensity. I'm going places in this world. You know, they're in the same state. They disliked my video 2 months ago, and they're going to dislike this one. Unless, of course, they listen and are like, there's a connection here. I'm starting to see a pattern. I am too. I am too. So when I say unhealthy INFJ, I am specifically referring to this. Whenever your act of compulsion becomes a emotional necessity, otherwise you can't be happy and you can't function, and you just leave me alone. You have to scream at the other person. You're a live wire. You're not stable, and it's not safe for you to be around anyone. You're going to hurt the ones you love, care about most, and then you're going to stay there angry with the next person who talks to you and says, you shouldn't have done that. Yeah, well, you shouldn't be talking to me right now. It's got to be what you want to say. Your own emotions are the problem. You have got to learn, you INFJs who act like this, you have got to learn, and believe me, I have no problem at all listening to you. I have no problem hearing why you do the things you do, but make no mistake, I am not someone who belittles or coddles other people or enables them. You can enable yourself as much as you want, but you're never going to get anywhere in life, and you're never going to be well. In 40 years, you'll be in the same state you are now, the more you enable yourself. You are the only person who can change the way you think. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And I'll say that again. No one else is going to change the way you think. And eventually people are going to quit trying. That'll be your fault. So what you choose to do with your life and with your thoughts and with your emotions is your responsibility, nobody else's. And you can put it on us and say, well, I'm frustrated because of you, so therefore you need to amend the wrong. We don't have to do anything. We don't even have to talk to you again. We can leave you with that emotional baggage. Now what are you going to do? Well, They should have never done it in the first place. Please. Forgive them, deal with it, become a stronger person, and move on. Alright, the pain's not gonna go anywhere until you finally decide that you're done carrying it. The only person who's getting bitter here is you. I guarantee you, if you're not in that person's life anymore, in 20 years, they're going to forget about you. Especially if it was an INFJ. They probably, to this day, if it happened 3.5, 4 months ago, they probably aren't thinking about the argument they had with you right now. It's probably the last thing on their mind, if it's on their mind at all. Alright, make no mistake. The only person suffering, if you're an unhealthy INFJ and you show these signs, the only person suffering is you. And that means that until you want to be better, you are never going to be anything more than you are right now. An unhealthy, hurt, emotional INFJ with no self-control whatsoever. And that is a hard pill to swallow, but I have no problem saying it a second time. Until you are ready for a change, you are never going to be anything better than you are right now. How's that for a motivational speech? Man, I am proud of myself. I am so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. Look at all this wisdom. Look at all this wisdom and knowledge. Praise God for it. And thank you, Jesus, for all the sufferings I've been through. Now I have a testimony from them. Man, I'm so proud of myself. Oh, I should be a motivational speaker. All right, I gotta go. I'm so pumped. I gotta go make a video about this. I gotta go make a motivational video. I will make another video and post it online.